Good morning. I'm Karen Toronto with Social U, and it is time for What's Up Wednesday, where we come to you live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. to talk about social media tips, tricks, and trends. And all this month, it's spooky season. We're talking about Halloween and mistakes, nightmares, and scares. And today, we are going to talk about basically nightmares, things that you need to avoid as a small business owner or nonprofit. Um, More common mistakes, things that are actually costing you money. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Next week, we're going to talk about horror stories, people who made social media mistakes that changed the course of their life. So that is next week, but today we're going to talk about nightmares. Okay. And these are in no particular order. I just kind of picked some of the most common, some of my personal favorites. So let's jump in. Number one, you cannot treat social media as an afterthought. It has to be a priority on your marketing list or it's not going to work. And we see this actually quite often. Oh, I tried Facebook. It didn't work for me. Okay. When you say try, what do you mean? Well, I made a Facebook page and I put up a post a year ago and nothing happened. Not how that works. Not how any of this works. So it can't be just some secondary, I'll get to it when I get to it. It needs to be something that you actually put time into. You can't just get around to it when you have time. No, it's harmful. Inconsistency not only damages how the algorithm responds to you, it kills your momentum. It confuses your audience, tremendously confuses your audience. And a lot of people will forget about you because you're not popping up on their newsfeed on the regular. Okay, number two, not defining a clear strategy. Anytime we start a new client, we start with an intake form and I ask the same question. What's your primary objective? Do you want to grow your audience? Do you want to grow your sales? Do you want to grow your brand? Do you want to grow awareness? We have a list of like 5 different things. I think that's all of them. Where we ask what's the objective? And you would be shocked and alarmed at how many people check them all off. Not how that works. You have to pick one. And a lot of people will lock down on vanity metrics. Well, this post got 100 likes. Yeah, because you paid to boost it. We want to look at organic analytics so that we can analyze what works for you and keep doing that. So, yeah, you have to have goals. You have to determine what's the most important to you and then focus on that. If not, why it's harmful. You can't measure the success or replicate the work if everything you do is skewed or fractured. So if you're doing email collection for 5 minutes and then you go into looking at your sales and then you go into community, it's not going to work that way. That's just not how it works. Again, not how any of this works. And I'm going to say that probably a lot today. Okay, number 3, you cannot ignore your target audience or the data surrounding that. What do I mean? I mean, a lot of small businesses post what they like instead of what their audience likes. And this is more common than you would think. I cannot express to you how many times we've gotten into it with a business owner. When I say gotten into it, that's not my preference. It's not about you. You're not the client. You have to appeal to your end user. You also have to know who your end user is, but that's a topic for another day. You absolutely have to post what your customer base is looking for. And yes, you do need consistent content, but not at the expense of the quality of the content. So yeah, you absolutely want to make sure that you're focusing on what your audience values. Because if you don't, you're going to have very low engagement, poor reach, and boy, are you going to waste your ad dollars. Big time. Okay, number 4, over promotion. And this is again my personal pet peeve. I would list this one in every category. Boring and salesy will kill you faster than anything else. Posting nonstop about products or sales without providing value or personality will get you unfollowed faster than anything else. I call it the used car salesman principle. You cannot do that. It cannot be sale, 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 sale. Sale. People, it's too much. It's overwhelming, and people will just block you or hide you. You are literally teaching your followers to tune you out and buy from another brand, because it's not just about constant sales. It's also about trust, and it's also about personality. People a lot of times will buy from you. They're not going to ever buy from you if they don't like you, and overwhelming them with sales and promotions it's not likable. It's just not. Okay, number 5, neglecting your engagement. You can't ignore DMs, comments, mentions. It's extremely harmful because social media or platforms reward engagement. So when you ignore your followers' comments, you are teaching the algorithm to ignore you. But more importantly, you're showing your clients or your potential clients that that's not important to you. And the younger your audience, the more they value your response and how quickly you respond. So you are damaging your relationships, but it's also super visible. You don't want other potential clients to log on and see that there's a comment or a complaint, or especially if it's negative, to see something that you have never responded to, like from 2 weeks ago. That's not a good look. Yeah. Okay. Number 6, inconsistent branding. You can't use, well, you can, but don't use different logos, colors, tones. Just don't do it. It's harmful because it really confuses your potential customers and it weakens your brand recognition. So you want to make sure that you are consistent across all platforms so that you're easily recognizable. Okay, number 7, not using your analytics, not referring to the analytics. You should not post blindly without tracking your analytics. It is harmful because you're going to miss insights into what actually drives results, engagement, sales, click-throughs, and which posts convert the best if you're not looking at your analytics. You have to check to see what's working. Number 8, again, this is a huge pet peeve of mine, buying followers for engagement. Please don't do that in the year 2025. When you purchase fake followers or engagement pods, it's harmful to you, your small business, your brand, because algorithm knows if it's genuine. And it will suppress fake activity or clean them out worse. So you just wasted your money, but it reduces your organic reach and it blows your credibility. There are programs you can, that we know of. I can run an Instagram account through and it will tell me if the followers are fake or not. And we have engagement tools built into our, into my, as an extension on Chrome that tells me how much engagement you get on Instagram. And if you have 100,000 followers and your engagement is 0.5%, they're fake. And that didn't help you at all. It's better to have, I'd much rather you have 100 brand warriors who love you, who will go to war for you, than have 1,000 people who wouldn't recognize you if they hit you with their car. So it's much more important to have the great engagement than it is to have a bunch of followers. Again, vanity metrics won't help you long term. Okay, number 9, you cannot ignore fake reviews, feedbacks. We did last week's live was all about negative reviews and how to respond and how to deal with trolls. You can't just, oh dear God, don't delete them. And you can't ignore them. Don't ignore them. It's harmful because it damages trust and it gives the impression that you either don't care or you can't handle it. And neither one of those is a good look for a business owner. Number 10, poor visuals, low quality graphics. Oh, even worse, watermarked graphics. Yikes. Or off-brand images. Don't do that. Especially with Canva being as robust as it is now, there's just no excuse for using the first image you find on Google with a watermark splashed across it. And it'll get you sued. It's harmful because first impressions matter. Bad visuals are brand defining and they look unprofessional and they're credible. I'm not going to trust somebody who doesn't take the time to do their own graphic. You can't just rip an image off of Google. Again, you can get sued for that kind of thing. Don't do it. 11, spreading too thin across platforms. You cannot be all things to all people, period. No matter, business or personally, you just can't do it. If you try to post on every single network, every single day, it is overwhelming, especially if you don't have a focus. It's harmful to you because your effort's going to become diluted and none of your accounts will thrive. I would rather have you focus on one really killer platform and get good at it before you add something else. And I joke around, I say, it's like having kids. You have the first one and then you don't have the second one until you forget how bad it was to have the first one. But that aside, you aren't going to spend time on a platform you don't like. So if you hate Twitter, and boy, I hate Twitter, I'm not going to spend time on that platform. So it doesn't make sense for me to nurture that account. If you love Facebook, good for you. First and foremost, Facebook can be super effective and they're great about paying their content creators. Then spend your time there and focus on that and get really good at that content and posting there before you grow into Instagram. And of course, I have opinions on all the platforms. It's all going to depend on your target audience and who you're trying to attract. But most small businesses cannot thrive on more than 2, 3 max platforms. And people say to us, oh, you're on all the platforms. Yeah, I have a whole team who does it. I'm not one person doing it by myself, and we do this for a living. So we have to be on multiple platforms. That's how that works. But most small businesses and nonprofits don't have to do that. Okay, number 12, ignoring trends or platform updates. You should not fail to adapt to new features, real stories. Like stories are hot right now on TikTok. You can't just ignore that. It's harmful because you lose visibility and relevance to competitors who are willing to evolve with the platform. Number 13, not having a clear voice or personality. I think this goes back to branding, but you need to be consistent so that your inconsistent tone really doesn't reflect your brand's values. If you're going to stand on business, you got to stand on the same business all the time. It's harmful if you do not, because it makes it impossible for followers to emotionally connect with you or remember you if you're not being consistent. Also, it's boring. So just be you. My entire personality just kind of hangs out when I am on TikTok because that's our primary platform. So I am who I am. Number 14, don't neglect your local or niche targeting. When you post generic content, instead of tailoring to your geography or community, you're harming yourself. It is detrimental because local audiences will not feel seen. And that's where small business really thrives, is in the local audience. Now, is it okay to have some generic content? Absolutely, because you do have to educate. You can't always entertain. It's just not the way it works. And you do need to educate, inform, and entertain. But your content still has to have personality and be relevant to your local community. It can't all be, and we see this, it's very common with companies who have national or multiple locations where all the content is super generic. And I'm not saying it's bad content. A lot of that content is really good. But if it's not more specific to your location or you personally, it's not going to help you. The engagement won't be there. So just kind of bear that in mind. And number 15, our final one, don't ignore video content. I've been saying this for years. Video, baby. You have got to tap into video. You have got to get in front of a camera. Avoiding video because it's too time consuming or it's hard or I don't get it. It's just not going to float anymore. You are going to make yourself irrelevant if you do not get in front of a camera. It's super harmful because video is the highest performing content on every platform across the board. And without it, you are basically shooting your reach and engagement in the foot. It will drop dramatically. Video is huge. It is huge for your current clients. It's huge for potential clients. It works. That's why people use it. And these are the top 10 nightmares for small businesses and nonprofits. Some of the more common mistakes that we see. Next week is I would go so far as to say it's my favorite week of the year because we get into the nightmares next week where we're going to talk more about mistakes on social media that literally changed the trajectory of people's lives. The mistakes were so big, it cost them permanently. So we're going to get into the horror stories next week. Please feel free to join me next week for that. And until then, I am Karen Taradas with Social You, and I'm here to help. Thanks.